can you share insights into transformative practices or methodologies you have adopted that have a significant impact on the delivery and performance of your projects?
When I think about that, I think to myself that I don't have any mind-blowing um, insights on strategies. But what I have is, I mean, I'm aware that in my case at least, that transformative practices are not usually some exciting innovation. They're just the things that we do consistently well, actually that we do excellently well. And
Yeah,
that is this is what I teach my team, because many times I find, especially the younger people in my team, we kind of want to run after every new thing in project management, and that supports the work that we do. Um, so there are few must dos with every team that I have managed. And
mhm.
the first one is the power of early engagement. So the first one is not
Okay.
technology. It's really about clarity. What is the purpose? And this clarity has to be across board. Everybody must think what it is that we're doing is exactly this, and nobody has a difference in opinion, not even a slight variation. Because I've been involved in projects where a small difference became such a big issue. So that the power of early engagement is a very important thing for me. And for me, that means really identifying very carefully who it is that I should be talking to. And I go over and beyond when it comes to things like stakeholder mapping. I'm almost obsessed with that. Um, I also find that because of the types of projects that we do, many times the end user is several steps removed from from the project, right? So one of the things that I have learned to do, and this again came from a project that had happened that didn't end the way that we had hoped, is to pull in the end users. So that engagement is really important to me, and I make sure that the team themselves have interactions with the stakeholders, especially an end user. In the space of affordable housing, this is more than a building for many people. It's more than, walls and a roof. So when I find that we are engaged actively with the end user, I find a team that is more challenged and more willing and able to go over and beyond to make sure that the project is successful. So that's my rule number one. The second thing I think is actually connected is the rule of no surprise. I mean, I say to my team, we should not ever be in a situation where either one of us or one of the other parties is surprised by something. So we need to deal with any issues that we have very quickly. And the antidote to the no surprise is the quality of communication. How do we communicate? What do we communicate? And funny enough, here is where agile comes in for me, right? So Dharam and I have an interesting thing about agile because I was so resistant at the beginning. I mean, here, 30 years of project management, I was steeped in the waterfall methodology. I didn't want to hear anything. But interesting enough, so I borrow a lot from the agile principles here. I kind of think of agile as groups of people who are sitting, when it comes to communication, sitting around or standing around. Actually, I like the standing around, and a little board, and writing just the important things, right? But this regular process of, shall I say, reporting on projects is something that I have imbibed. And it's not only within the team, but also with the way that we communicate with the other stakeholders, with our clients and other parties. So that, reporting is not a once a month reporting as was typical in the case of, some other methodology, but we literally report every week, and the reporting is a single page. We've made sure, right? And so what I found, the outcome of that is that there's such a new level of trust that is built, right? And so even when we do have a problem as they occur, we've built such a sufficient trust quotient that in many ways we're able to overcome the challenge without losing face or losing trust with the stakeholders involved. So that for me is really important. Then another thing I think, I mean, I can't discount the role of technology, right?
Mm,
So technology does have a role to play. Tech is an ally, I agree. But, I tell my team as well, who are really eager to deploy all kinds of technology, that if we don't have a good process, then that process, we automate it, we just end up getting poor results, faster. That's all that means. So I'm very keen to deploy technology in a sensible way. And that's not to say, yeah, but it's important to me. I don't know if it's an age thing, um, but there are things that we enjoy doing and work very well for us. So using drones will be an example for me. I am completely intrigued by what I'm able to see just because I have put a drone up in the sky. I mean, things that would never have been possible. And what's even more interesting is that we now do meetings with the drone, and we're looking at the images and discussing what we're going to do next,
wow.
while the drone is taking the shots and showing us what's going on. So, even making decisions has become that little bit easier. So altogether, embrace tech, but I'm a firm believer in staying grounded as well. I'd like to talk a little bit more about negotiating, because this is one of the lessons that I learned as a young project manager. I thought actually that negotiating meant that I got off the table with a basket full of goodies, and I didn't care what was happening on the other side. But
Mm,
I think that impacts a project, and it can impact a project significantly, right? So what I have learned as I go to a negotiating table today is to see how we both can get away feeling like, yes, we left something on the table, but also that we got away with something. And really, that's really important to me, because that way, you kind of view that people are not tools, right? People are human. And I've made it a point of duty that I acknowledge that, and acknowledge the nuances that come with working with people.
yeah.
The final thing, sorry, one more thing. Final thing that I'd like to talk about, again, this is from experience, is the issue of morale. I think that that's such an important thing. As project managers, we can be very, very focused on achieving what needs to be achieved without really paying enough attention. We might think that we're ticking the boxes with dealing with our team, but we're not paying sufficient, attention to them. So we've done all kinds of things. I remember on a project, I might have shared this with you, where we had many mom and pop contractors, and we had this basket of gifts, and if anyone had performed credibly well, they got a gift. And shockingly, over Christmas, one of the contractors sent me a message to say Merry Christmas, and then sent me a picture of him. He was using his tile cutter on a project site, and and this was a cutter he received as a gift, 6, 7 years ago. And so those kinds of things really help to promote and have really great impact on how our projects come out at the end of the day. So projects is about people. It's truly about people, and it's about purpose as well. And those three things together are extremely important to me.